fucking dumbass. Fucking bullshit.
People will genuinely run in flocks to defend this show, and I find that kind of crazy. Hello there, fellow members of the Kamen Rider hive mind. My name's Sho, and over a year ago today, I finished Kamen Rider Kuuga for the first time. I wished I was dead after watching it. It was here where my first ever video on this channel was published, except I forgot to turn it off on link only, so only like 3 people watched it. But in a desperate attempt to actually save my upload schedule, because apparently that's just a mere concept to me at this point, I'm going to be re-talking about Kamen Rider Kuuga because it's been a year and we'll see how much I've matured. This video won't be in the style of my standard reviews, but instead will be a general sweeping consensus on what I thought about Kuuga, mainly because I can't afford to do a full-length review. Kuuga follows the story of Yusuke Godai, a man who is way too cheery to be living in a town where everybody is comically murdered by these fucking ancient creatures called the Grongi. He's aided in his efforts by Ichijo, who might as well be the greatest character ever put to TV screens, and Sakurako. I'll give you one guess as to what her job is.
Dude, I want to jerk off! Fuck! I want to jerk off! Look at me!
Kuuga is essentially a police drama that just so happens to have Kamen Riders running around in it, and I find that aspect really, really shit, actually. Look, police dramas aren't my thing. Drama has never been my thing, and that's probably because I'm from the UK and we've had the same 3 identical soap operas running for the ungodliest amount of time ever. So even hearing the word drama makes me quake and fall to my knees. I found the overall story of Kuuga to honestly be really, really weak, and I understand that it's supposed to be a more character-driven story, but, you know, that argument kind of falls apart when you realise I don't really like any of the characters. As a matter of fact, the only character I can say I truly 100% liked was Ichijo, mainly because he might be the singular most based man on the entire fucking planet. You know, that Grongi that basically tells him he's just as bad as her because he's a police officer, and then he proceeds to literally unload an entire fucking clip into her head. Unfortunately, Kamen Rider Kuuga's biggest crime is that it's boring as fuck. Genuinely, I don't actually know how many episodes in a day I could sit through, because this was after I finished all my exams and I literally had nothing to do because I'm unemployed as fuck. So I have no idea how well I was able to actually binge it. Let me just put it like this. Kuuga is not a show you binge. Sure, don't get me wrong, for a lot of people, it's a reward to see where Godai ends up, but when you don't actually root for the character anyway, kind of just feels like you wasted 50 episodes. Speaking of, that last episode, oh boy. Look, I know you all absolutely hate the way Tenkuji Takaru gets glazed in his show, but you will never, ever, ever admit that Yusuke Godai is glazed in such a similar manner. Okay, that's a joke. Maybe I took it too far that time. Look, not only is this final episode of Kuuga an absolute fucking slog, but I also really just don't give a flying fuck about how well Yusuke Godai impacted everyone's lives. Like, this especially doesn't really work in the case of Sakurako, because, I mean, she's set up to be a love interest, but that never really goes anywhere. Could you even argue that Kuuga has made an impact on her life? I mean, I guess so, because all of her, like, university friends get fucking murdered in the first episode. Oh yeah, that's another thing about Kuuga. I don't really like the Grongi either. The Grongi, or as I like to call them, the world's worst fucking villains ever, are just genocidal because they can be. To be honest, the entire whole, look at how many people die in every episode really just becomes numbers at a certain point. Like, by the midpoint of the show, they're just throwing out numbers just to try and big up the shock factor. It's pretty sad, to be honest, because if you have even the remotest interest in the Grongi, you will be entirely let down. There was such a good opportunity for world building here that they just completely missed out on. To add to this entire disappointment, Kuuga himself is a little neak. I don't like Yusuke Godai. I really wish Godai was just more than, oh, look, he's Mr. Happy all the time, or he's so kind. There's no dimensionality to Bro's character. In saying all that, though, I can actually see why people view Kuuga the way they do, even if I think that's really unholy glaze. At the end of the day, guys, it's just a Kamen Rider show, a show that's made for, 8-year-old boys. So, let's be honest here, even if this video has managed to tick you off, at least I can acknowledge that Kuuga is actually a decent show. Just wasn't my cup of tea. And I think through all this, we can learn a valuable lesson about opinions. And that if you send a 16-year-old child a death threat over a 20-year-old kid's show, maybe you should take a look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you're gonna die a fucking virgin.